What's up, guys? Here it at again, back with another video. Today we're going to be putting a new tool to the test. Have you ever had to wrestle with ratchet straps that really just fight back just as hard as you're trying to secure the load? If you have, you're going to want to see this tool, because what I have today is the gear-driven reverse action ratchet from Mighty Products. This tool has a lot of very, very useful features that make it easier to use than a standard ratchet, which I'll get into in the video. Without further ado, so here's what we're working with. The ratchet that I showed you initially, it also comes with a 2-inch wide by 30-foot long strap. Now, the strap has a 10,000 pound braking strength with a working load limit of 3,333 pounds. Now, that is marked on the strap itself, and it is also marked on the tag that is attached to the strap. You can see there, 10,000 pounds, 3,333 pounds. They have it in English as well as metric for you guys to look at if you need it. And that's strong enough to pretty much secure anything you're legally putting on a flatbed, ATV, machinery, and any other case that you may use this for, whatever you may secure it down to, whatever type of trailer you are using. But always, of course, make sure that you are using the correct quantity of straps to secure whatever the weight is that is on your trailer. Make sure that you are making yourself safe at all times. Use as many straps as you need to use. But what makes this ratchet really different from, say, a standard ratchet, something like this right here, something that I have used in the past, is the gear-driven reverse action ratchet. Instead of pushing up on a ratchet the way you would with something traditional like this to tighten the strap or remove the slack from the strap, this type of ratchet right here removes slack as you press the handle up. Now, the reverse action ratchet removes slack as you pull the handle down, which, you know, makes things a lot easier if you are familiar with physics and leverage. You keep more strength when you pull something towards your center of gravity, your torso, which where you would normally be pulling, versus pushing something away from you. You know, you retain more strength with this kind of action. And, you know, if you've ever had to utilize a standard ratchet like this, you know, these become harder and harder to tighten down as you remove the slack. You know, it's more and more difficult, especially when you're pressing away and you have to put 2 hands into it to really get those last final cranks out. And it can be a bit taxing if you have injuries or, you know, nagging issues with some of your body parts. And that small modification in design makes a huge difference in terms of functionality between this tool and a standard ratchet. This ratchet has an extra gear mechanism between the mandrel and the handle, which allows for more clicks per pull, which will give you almost double the tension on your strap. So you won't feel like you're out there having an arm wrestling match with the ratchet as you're trying to crank the strap down on your load. Now we're going to do a real world application and test of the 2 ratchets. I have the standard right here and the gear driven reverse action ratchet from Mighty Products right here. Now, I have both of these 2-inch straps loose. You can see I can shake them. So there's some slack in both of them. And I'm gonna start off further emphasize the difference. I'm gonna use one hand for as long as I can to tighten each strap as much as possible. So let's see how many clicks I can do with the standard ratchet. And remember, this ratchet has to be pressed up to remove slack from the strap. So let's see how many times I can get it. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's about as much as I can do with one hand here. 6. That's about all I can get out of it. 6 right there. So, and that's with 2 hands. Wouldn't go any tighter than that. Still got, it's tight enough to be secure, but still a little bit of play in it. Now this one right here, the reverse action ratchet here, remember there's an extra set of gears that I mentioned previously, and that'll take more of the clicks out and should enable me to get a tighter level of securement with less physical effort on my part. And like I said, same hand, one arm cranking as much as I could do. And with this one, keep in mind, I have to pull downward to remove tension from, or to add tension to the strap. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And that's one hand the whole time. That's really tight. It's actually tighter than this one. If you can look and see how I can wiggle it, it's secure, but it can still wiggle. This one, it's way tighter. That was what, 18? And let me see if I can still, yeah, this can keep going with two hands. I mean, it's more than drum tight on the freight itself. Now, that took no effort really with just one hand. That second set of gears really does help, especially, you know, I think what I was only able to do, what, like 5 or 6, something like that with this one, and then it got tougher after, what is it, like the 4th or something like that one. And with cranking with one hand, I had to press up, so the leverage, I'm pushing away from myself. There's not as much leverage as you would have pulling down. It was a lot easier. You guys saw I got more than twice, like almost 4 times as many clicks with this one, and the ratchet is much tighter on the strap. In addition to that, you know, that system makes it a lot easier if you have injuries, like you have a weakened shoulder, you have like rotator cuff issues, you have back issues, you have neck issues. You know, having to press really hard on a standard ratchet is going to aggravate that issue, especially if you have to use these kind of straps frequently, you know, like I do on a daily basis, using this to make like X straps, or to, you know, hit a spot on the load that a 4-inch strap will not fit in, you know, a certain pocket or something like that. You know, this would alleviate that issue and definitely make it a lot more comfortable for me to do the job, and on top of making the load a lot more secure. As you can see, like I said, this is tighter. This barely wiggles. This one right here, I can still shake it a bit. And you guys saw how much work I had to put into cranking those last few with 2 hands. Another positive about the gear-driven reverse action ratchet is that since it's giving you better leverage and you're also pulling the handle in a more natural position, it keeps your shoulder in proper line, you know, anatomically with the rest of your body. So you're not having that added strain and stress. It's a lot easier. You have the better leverage, and that also counts like when you're working on an unideal or an inimedial surface. So imagine you're securing over top of loose gravel, which I've done plenty of times, unfortunately. Loose gravel, snow, ice, places where your footing is not stable. So you're pushing away from yourself. That enhances the chances of you slipping or sliding on the uneven surface. Now, when you have this, you're pulling in a more natural position. You're not having to almost push yourself away from the load. You're pulling straight down, almost like grounding yourself even better in the position that you're standing in. That enhances safety, that enhances efficiency of using the tool, and it mitigates the risk that you face, you know, having to walk on those types of surfaces or having to work on those types of surfaces. And that helps to keep you from being injured. And when you're not injured, you can stay out on the road and make more money, which is what we all want. Now, this ratchet comes in 2 different versions. You have the flat hook version, like I have here, and they also have a wire hook version. With the flat hooks, it's very easy to slide them into an anchor point on your trailer, or to, you know, hook them onto the rub rail if you choose to. They work out great, and they do not slide. I haven't had any issues with these moving. The polyester strap feels tough. It's weather resistant, handles sun and rain, and doesn't fray easily. I've tugged on it pretty good. You guys saw me doing the test earlier with the ratchets, and there's no stretch or sag in the strap when you're tightening it. I tightened it, dang near to the max. I probably could have kept going maybe like a click or two more, but this thing was more than drum tight on the load. So you don't have to worry about the strap relaxing halfway through your trip and your load becoming dislodged and making things unsafe for you. That'll give you peace of mind on the road. Final thoughts on my recommendation for this tool, guys. I would absolutely recommend it, especially if you have any of the issues that I mentioned previously in the video regarding joint issues with your shoulder, your rotator cuff, your back, your elbow, your neck. The extra gear in this reverse action ratchet really does make a huge difference in the amount of strength that you need to recruit to use it. It reduces it quite a bit. The tool does all the work. You guys saw I was able to crank almost 20 cranks with this tool with just one hand. I mean, I could have kept on going, but I didn't want to risk damaging the freight. So this will definitely make your job easier. And especially if you are needing to utilize a tool like this on a regular basis, even if you don't have any of the injuries or nagging pains, if you have a physical job, you want to use as little energy as possible so you're less tired at the end of your work day. You don't feel beat up. So any tool that is out there specifically made to take pressure off of you is a good thing in my book, because I do not like feeling burnt out at all. I would highly recommend this. I have a couple of them. They're great for making X straps on your load or just hitting those small spots where you can't fit a 4-inch ratchet or strap, as I mentioned previously. If you are interested in purchasing a reverse action ratchet for yourselves, I will leave a link down below. I'll actually pin it in the comments section, as well as leaving a card here or here with the link where you guys can get some Mighty products and purchase this tool or any of the other tools they may have. Some of them I have reviewed in the past for yourself, and make your flatbedding job easier, or whatever you're hauling, wherever you're hauling it. And don't forget to utilize my coupon code TAKE10, and I will also pin that in the description for you guys so you can save a little bit of money, because who does not love doing that, right? So until the next time, guys, I appreciate you all watching. Your Relax Trucker out.